So let's talk about oil at Ransom. So I'm sure some of you may or may not have heard the news this past week, but a ransomware attack has shut down the biggest U.S. gasoline pipeline. The biggest pipeline. So the digital world transcends the physical world. And this is why the digital experience matters so much, because it's not just, it doesn't stay there. What starts digital does not necessarily stay there. So the FireEye is investigating. Their incident response team has came up to the call, but essentially there was a ransomware attack from a group called DarkSide. And of course, that's their name, right? Of course, that's their name.
Yeah.
Why would their name be Lightside? And, it just happens to be close enough to May the 4th. So, it's perfectly timed. Yeah. I wonder how they planned that about. But it just goes to show that this is now the largest ransomware attack. This has now become the largest ransomware attack with the highest amount of damages, right? Because they're shutting down the entire, the biggest U.S. gasoline pipeline.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, they're not restricting digital flow, right? You can't go ahead and book that transaction. They're restricting physical flow.
Like literally physical flow, yeah.
Yeah, literally physical flow. And I think that this shows us one thing, right? Shows us how everything is collapsed together. Like we think about certain businesses as being brick and mortar versus click and mortar. We talk about everybody needs to be digital. Well, that is true, but part of becoming digital means that ultimately you fall susceptible, right, to these particular types of attacks. And so we always think about, banks, financial institutions, SaaS-based software companies, what's happened here even recently, in terms of getting people's data. But shutting things down is, I think, the next generation of this.
Oh yeah, and it's been happening. It's going to continue to happen. It's why even a small business, you need to consider cybersecurity, and you need to consider the risk. You need to consider, what you are doing to protect yourself against ransomware, against threats, because these things happen. They're happening at more and more at scale. It's easier and easier to launch a ransomware attack. You think about the stereotypical, you think about some guy that works at Best Buy, and he clocks out at the end of the night. He wears his black hoodie, and he's sitting there hacking your company. That's not who it is anymore. These people are sitting there, they're researching you, they're plotting, they're scheming, they're analyzing, and they're ready to hit you, but they're waiting for the right time. They're waiting for May the 4th so the dark side can rise. They're waiting for that time. They're waiting for their time.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the way the internet was first used was almost for malfeasance, and this is the way crypto was first used was, with ransomware. Okay, we've got you locked down, we want 2 Bitcoin, and we want you to send it to this address. It's, who knows?
Yeah, and I think they're still trying to investigate this, but could this be because of could this be a bigger thing, more of a someone looking at the global warming crisis and they're trying to shut down gasoline? Who knows? It's not all the motivation isn't always all monetary. There's so many different reasons for this for these hacks that are going on now. So all the more reason to protect yourself out there.
Yeah, true story.
Now, that's not to say you're going to wake up one day and say, we've arrived, we've adapted. It's a constant struggle and a constant battle to continuously adapt.
We've adapted. We're there.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Well, there's a great saying that kind of builds on what you just mentioned, which is how do you open up a small business? You open up a big one.